been a long time. See you. Fuck, I can't sing. I think everyone would turn this off immediately if I started it like that. This is Long Day's Journey into Film podcast. I'm Russ.
I'm Andy.
I'm Arthur.
I'm Ben, aka Mav.
And I'm Grayson.
The boys are back in town even.
Boys are back in town.
It's been a fucking minute, and I feel like we should address that. So Andy, when was the last time we did an episode?
I honestly don't remember what the last episode was, but I will check.
I think it was Irreversible. I think it was Irreversible back in like spring, summer 2022. So it's been a minute.
Holy fuck. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was I Stand Alone, actually.
And you know what sucks is Irreversible had like fucking, I forget the exact number. It was like 12,000 views. And that was like the most we'd ever gotten before. And then we just fucking stopped for no reason. We probably shouldn't have done that. Just life, got in the way.
Yeah.
That's what every fucking podcaster says. That's everyone's excuse. There's no excuse. We've been slacking for a year and a half. But yeah, we're back. We're not going to be talking about Gaspar and Noé today. Maybe we'll get back to that. I really want to talk about Enter the Void on here. And also Climax, Love, and fuck, I still want to talk about all his movies. But right now we're talking about S. Craig Zahler's films.
Oh, man.
Also, we got Arthur here returning.
I love Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I love Blade Runner.
Dude, me too. We should be friends.
I've got some things to say about
Blade
some
Runner?
of these movies. No, about Blade. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about
Hey, let's just talk about Blade Runner again. Fuck it.
Good enough for me.
So, S. Craig Zahler.
Stupid name.
I don't know what's with people using an initial as their first name. Are they just so embarrassed of their first name?
Oh, I thought first name was S. Craig.
No, it's S. Period. Craig Zahler.
Fuck that
S.
guy.
Craig. That's fine.
S. Craig.
So today we'll be talking about two of the director S. Craig Zahler's films, Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99. He does have a third film, Dragged Across Concrete. We won't be covering it today. Maybe we'll cover it in the future or in some other way. But I've not rewatched it, so I can't really give my thoughts on it. He also wrote two other films, Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich and Asylum Blackout, which I've seen Asylum Blackout. It's pretty mid. I didn't like it. I mean, he didn't direct it, so
Saw the little right, like when it came out, but that was like almost 6 years ago, I think. So
I hope I don't sound like Death. Do I sound like Death?
no.
A little bit. I know my voice is different, that's for sure. It's because I was replaced by you know how like Kanye was replaced at one point and like he's no longer Kanye. Yeah, like that. They did that with me.
Or like
Except they fucked up the vocal cords.
Levine, Britney Spears.
Certifiably, he was replaced. Yeah.
You know, Elvis was a reptilian.
Did you know Elvis, his grave is actually empty?
You know Elvis fucked a kid?
He rose from the
What?
dead like Jesus.
Wait, what?
Did you
did
ever
it-
hear
what
about
did
his
he-
peanut butter sandwiches?
Yeah, he put bananas in them.
Who the fuck did that?
Elvis. He would have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with it's like fried bananas or some shit.
I'm glad he died, man.
Oh, dude, my brother does that.
Grayson, your brother's a fucking weirdo.
Your brother fucks children? That's
Whoa,
not
whoa.
good, bro.
Hold up.
Whoa.
Arthur. I have a plan, Arthur. Arthur.
Okay.
Explain what Bone Tomahawk is, Arthur.
It's about this nice little lady and her husband, and she's a doctor or nurse. I think she's a doctor. And this guy named Arthur he's a fucking cowhand, something fucking cowpoke, whatever. He goes out and works on ranches and shit. And they're a happy little couple. Then they live in this small little town. There's a old man there, old sheriff, played by Kurt Russell. Don't remember the Arthur guy's name. And there's an old man deputy sheriff. Then there's like an actual deputy sheriff. Old man's kind of senile a little bit. There's an asshole doctor with a mustache, and that's our main cast, really. Actually, somebody else take it from here because I have some shit to say about this movie.
Yeah. So basically, these cannibalistic recluse tribe of they call them troglodytes in this. Yeah, pretty much people are kidnapped by these like savage cannibals, and they have to go save them. And Patrick Wilson's character has an absolutely fucked leg, and it makes the whole movie very excruciating and painful to watch.
Slow burn. So if I can give a little my little preface, I feel, don't get me wrong, I think the movie is well made. I think the acting's great. I think it looks great. And that's impressive considering it came out before Cell Block. I thought it was after. Um it's good. It's a good movie, well paced, great acting, good characters, and everything. Although I don't think the movie is intentionally racist. I think that there's some bad shit going on with. I understand that they make a distinction between Native Americans and the troglodytes, but the troglodytes are a like characterization
A
of
caricature.
the stereotype of Native Americans. And don't get me wrong, yeah, like fucking Native Americans did fucked up shit. Settlers did fucked up shit. But you know, we don't settlers aren't demonized the same way that Native Americans were. And to have the monster of the movie be like a personification of the stereotype of Native Americans as savages is pretty fucked up. Um, I understand that he tried to like kind of be like, well, no, that's not what I'm saying, and like, okay, I don't think it's a mean movie. I don't think it's trying, but I think it was irresponsible. I liked the movie, but I thought that was bad. That's all.
So basically, what you're saying is you think that all natives are troglodyte cannibals.
Fuck you. And you know that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you go on Jesus, if you go on Letterboxd, look at the reviews, it's completely split between people saying, I mean, first off, fuck Letterboxd. I like it, it's useful, but the people who use it are
It's movie
pretty
Twitter.
cringe. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. One half is like, this is a modern Western masterpiece. The rest are like, this is racist garbage. And people even think S. Craig Zahler, in general, his films are racist, like far right films, which
I don't fully agree with that.
since they do make the distinction that like there's only like one Native American character early on in the film. He's like, these are not our people. Like, fuck these people. And it is very brief, but I feel like this because S. Craig Zahler's whole thing is he likes to make grindhouse movies. He likes to
Mhm.
make movies like the 70s and 80s films that are just like not trashy. He doesn't do it in a trashy way. He does it in a very kind of artful, slow burn, very specific way, but he likes to make modern grindhouse movies. And the subject matter is very grindhouse. It's like I feel like he's making this is like the last time they could make a movie about savages in the old west that's not like the old John Wayne movies where it's like, oh, the Indians, and all that shit. But they do it in a way where it's not offensive. I don't think it's offensive. I mean, I'm not native, of course, but like I just don't see how like those people, they're like they don't even look like natives. They look like fucking like monsters. Like they're not like
Well,
they
yeah,
look
because they have the garb on, but ash paint, ash like whatever on your skin, that's a fucking thing. People like some tribes did out in the desert. I
Yeah.
understand. There's a distinction. He's not trying to demonize, Native
Yeah.
American people. I understand that.
But Zolly has a thing for teetering on that edge of like,
Yeah,
is he or is he not?
I just, yeah, he does. I don't know. For me personally, I can see how a native person would find it extremely offensive, and I can see how, and me personally, it makes me uncomfortable. I think it's a little bit irresponsible. However, I do think that it's a well-made movie. It's a well-made movie,
the something I was gonna say, Andy, you said that you think he teeters on that edge or he likes to like teeter on the edge of is he not racist? Is he like people say he's like a far right. I don't think that's what it is. I don't think he's trying to like push it in a way that like pushes people's buttons. I think he just does it in a way that maybe I'm contradicting, but he does it in a way where he just makes very impolitically correct movies. Because like you think about it, for like the time periods and the settings all his films are in, this is how people are. Like
Yeah.
like in Right Across Concrete, I know there's like, but like there's like racist cops, and like, yeah, those racist cops would act like the way they do in that. Or in Brawl and Cell Block 99, there's people who say offensive shit, like the Coke dealer. He says some, like I was just reading fucking Letterboxd reviews. Someone was picking on the one scene in Brawl where a character says the N-word. And it's like, yeah, but
Well, he's
a
the
fun-
bad guy,
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, and people think you should censor, and like even like if there's shit in this movie in Bone Tomahawk, it's like I don't think it's like he's trying to like give a political message. He's just making his grindhouse. Ben, what are your thoughts? You're kind of want to make sure you get your opinion as well.
Oh, sorry. um, yeah. I feel like this whole racism kind of debate for this movie is kind of just, I don't know. We've done it to death, haven't we, in the server? But I mean, like, yeah, you're right. There is a distinction made. Um, there is no. He's not like portraying all Native Americans to be these savages. Um, it's just a tribe, and I feel like we can't always make the bad guys white guys. Like sometimes we're going to have to kind of go and think, okay, well, hold on. There probably was a tribe back then who probably either were a bit Native American, who were a bit cannibalistic. Let's put them in a movie. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it's always going to be offensive if it's going to be like a group of people who aren't white. I just feel like, okay, so let's say like the savages in this movie were white guys. Would that have worked the same? Probably not.
Yeah,
You
like
see
if it
what I'm
was just like a
saying?
band of outlaws who were like, oh,
Yeah.
they eat people, be like, the fuck. It's kind of like
It would be like Blood Meridian.
I feel like the way it was kind of done, it only would have worked if it was those troglodytes that were how they looked, I guess, and how they were presented.
I was reading. I really wish I paid attention to which article it was, but it was an article talking about his creative process and how he writes these characters, and it was specifically about creating the troglodytes. And in I'm gonna kind of paraphrase his what he said or something, but he was like essentially he wanted to go to have a bit of mystery to the character, but I don't think he was trying to, like Russ said, go any like racial route with it. Obviously, parallels will be drawn because of the very obvious similarities, but I think he was just trying to go for a bit of a you need a threat and but you need to ground the threat.
I feel like this is the last movie, not the last, that's an overstatement, but like the last movie that really did the Old West like savage thing. And they did it, I would say, in the correct way, in the way that's not the old John Wayne movies, or I'm just saying John Wayne as a general era of filmmaking where they had very racist, offensive stereotypes of people. Um, they do this in a way, but it's like if every year a movie, an old Western comes out and like, oh, there's these the bad tribe. There's this one bad tribe. Like if everyone made Westerns like that, I would say that is offensive. But for this film, I think it works because it's kind of a one-off thing. Like it's kind of like cannibal movies, like Cannibal Holocaust or
Yeah.
fuck, what's that one? What's the Eli Roth one? In the jungle.
Oh, fuck. I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
what
about.
is that with what's her name? Lorenza Izzo. Lizzo? What?
Lizzo.
I feel like there's a joke to be made there about cannibals and Lizzo, but can't think of
What?
it.
Well, she eats people. That's the joke. To
Green
make. I mean,
Inferno.
like,
The Green Inferno.
The Green Inferno, like those people, or all right, I'll cut all this out. I'll look it up after the podcast. If I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure those people do exist that do eat people outside
Yeah.
of their tribe.
those people.
It's like I would say there's nothing offensive about that. You're portraying a real life horror
Yeah.
that exists either now or in the past.
If I can offer like my kind of final word on this, as far I think is basically like, yeah, I don't think there was malicious intention. I think it was more of like he thought of an idea for a movie. He was like, all right, and I'm gonna make it. And he didn't really consider the fact that I'm making the monster like this thing, this something that bears similarities. Because like they fucking scalp the guy, and like they bear similarities to, the Native American like stereotype. However, I think this movie, yeah, like this is the only way to make this movie, and I think yeah, like there's nothing wrong with Native Americans being, a antagonist in a movie. I mean, granted, like I think there should be nuance. I think it's the responsibility of, in the modern era, filmmakers to give the villain, the villains, if they're going, if the what they're who they're fighting is going to be Native people, give it nuance, make them, humanize them, right? But these, the troglodytes are inherently, and obviously this is because he's trying to make a distinction between Native Americans and these people and these creatures, that they are not, they're not human. But I think the issue there is that it feeds into that negative stereotype. And of course, once again, like I I think this movie, I don't think it would bother me as much. One, if it wasn't like a middle-aged white guy that made it, and also if it wasn't, I think this movie could exist in a different time, like in a future time where everyone is kind of getting along, and we kind of like, where the concept of Native Americans as savages is not like still kind of around. Granted, it's not as strong as it once was. Now there's just kind of a cultural disrespect for them.
I kind of disagree with that. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like if this movie were, I feel like as time progresses, I feel like there's going to be like more of an issue with things. I feel like if this movie was perhaps maybe released in the 80s, I feel like there would be kind of no uproar.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas I feel like now there is, I mean, not like there is loads, because I feel like if there was loads, I feel like the letterbox rating would reflect that a bit more. But actually, I think 3.7 would tell you that actually not that many people have that much of an issue with it. I think as we go on with time, I feel like it's just only going to get worse. I think if this movie was released in say 10 years' time, I just don't think it would have a chance in hell, to be honest with you. I just think that's just how society is just kind of moving on.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
As society, I just feel like we're kind of just we're picking fault with more and more things. We're finding out that our sensitivities are, we're getting more and more sensitive. Yeah, I just don't think this film would probably even exist in play. I mean, I don't know when you say future time, I'm not sure exactly what kind of time frame you're talking about, but
When racism doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm saying when racism is or when
we solve
like,
it.
You see what I'm saying though? Do you feel like, I don't know, I just feel like
it would get worse releasing this with time. Yeah, I agree with that. Like if he made this now, I feel like people would be a lot more upset.
Oh yeah. No, I
guess
2015
was that much different, but
I think some people might take issue with the way he sets his movies up and like lays everything out there, because it's kind of an open plate and it sets precedent for these unsavory types to attach to it, and then they project their beliefs of that film elsewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
There's a lot better racist movies against Native Americans to watch than this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
You went
Of
back in
course.
time. There's like so much better. Like, oh yeah, the engines.
Yeah, it's not a malicious movie. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a malicious movie at all.
I think just the way Zoller directs across the board and the way he presents his subjects and why he's such a controversial figure is because he has kind of just sets things out there and has them out there, and whether you decide whether what that means, and that's why we're here. Because there's not a clear focus on whether or not he's leaning which way.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. And I was actually doing some research on him because, like you said, there is this controversy surrounding him. So I thought I'd sort of look it up. And it seems like the guy is like just solely just interested in movies. Like he doesn't like give a fuck about anything else. And he was saying, like, I think, let me just quote him. He said about the movie, 60% of people will like it, which, okay, arrogant, perhaps. He said 20% will think it's disgusting and offensive, and another 20% will find it boring. But all he cares about is that he wants people to focus on the movies more and the characters, and less than trying to figure him out. He says he has no interest in religion. He has no interest in politics. He just likes to just make movies and creates interesting characters. So yeah, I guess any kind of reaction really if he
Yeah.
kind of likes, because I guess with any kind of art form, you have some sort of like feeling towards something. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think Andy's right in what he's saying.
Yeah. Something I was gonna say about Zoller in general, that I was reading about him, which I respect a lot, I think is great in a filmmaker, is he makes sure he has absolute control over all of his projects.
Yeah,
That he's
agreed.
he's the director, he's the writer, he's the editor, he's even the composer for some of his films.
Mm.
Okay.
Like he wants to make sure people aren't fucking with his movie. And I think in some of his movies, just editing wise, it could maybe be a little tighter and maybe could cut out
Yeah,
some stuff.
agreed.
But otherwise I really do I do love that. It kind of reminds me of Tarantino. How Tarantino, he always makes the movie he wants. And after his editor died, his movies got long as fuck. After like Inglourious Bastards. I'm kind of going on a tangent there. Um that is something, for some reason I was thinking about this. Maybe it doesn't make sense. I feel like, because Tarantino loves like grindhouse movies
Mhm.
Yeah,
and all that shit. Like I feel like Zoller is similar to Tarantino, but he's like the opposite of him in a way. Like he has similar things with his movies, but like they're not like satisfying, big, crazy, over the top. Like I don't
they're
know
not
why
as
I'm
fun.
comparing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
like
fun. It's like,
Tarantino minus the fun, isn't it?
yeah,
Really, it's
exactly. Like,
dark. It's dark as fuck, his films. Whereas Tarantino, I think in every single one of his films, even in like I guess Django and Inglourious Basterds, there's like a kind of fun element to it.
yeah, they're fun, they're
Um,
funny, they're like
yeah,
satisfying. I feel like Bone Tomahawk, I feel like it's very unsatisfying. I mean, there's like the thing at the end. Obviously, we're in spoilers at this point. The thing at the end, they kill the people, they escape. Kurt Russell dies. That like it's an ending, but
Made me
the whole
sad.
movie is it's so unsatisfying to me in a good way. Like I feel like it's in a way where it's just kind of presenting this thing where like these people have to go get someone back, and they do, and a bunch of people fucking die, and it's like just miserable. And
Yeah.
like I really enjoy that about it. It's like it's not going for like huge emotional beats in it. It's more like smaller character stuff. It's not like this huge grand story.
Yeah, he throughout his interviews, he's talked about how he's focused on the characters more so than the like message necessarily
yeah.
behind it. Like he just specifically described Bone Tomahawk as like kind of an adventure character driven film.
He's a great writer. I mean, I think they're very well written. The dialogue is great and everything. I respect him as an artist, of course. I love Cell Block 99 Brawlin. I liked Bone Tomahawk, I liked and I like Brawl and Cell Block 99. I was a little bit iffy on Dragged Across Concrete, but I think he is a good writer. Like he writes good, interesting, fun characters that have good dynamics. And his pacing would, like we were talking about, the kind of like no fun, unrewarding, not unrewarding, but unsatisfying pacing, or like the unsatisfying endings. He effectively uses the pacing of his movies to reinforce the tone or the emotional depth of it. So like I'll talk about this more with Cell Block, but I think like for Bone Tomahawk, it's a slow burn. It takes a little bit for them to figure out what's going on. It takes a little bit for them to get everything together, but it's that like most of the movie is the journey, right? And with this guy with this fucked up leg, and like eventually they lose their horses, and they're on foot, and it's this slow, like nothing is happening except the character dialogue, which keeps it interesting, but in terms of actual like action, it's very kind of reserved until the end. And
Yep.
I think that effectively kind of communicates how these characters are feeling, where it's just like this quiet fucking slog, and all is that you're just in the fucking desert, and you're still going, and it's going to be a while till you get there, and you're traveling with people that it's difficult to travel with, a fucking old man and a guy with it's dangerous, and it's everything. But I think it's a very like I wouldn't change anything about the pacing of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, like how the pacing kind of it works towards just making you like live with the characters and kind of like experience what they're going through. Um in both this and Bone Tomahawk, or fuck, between both this and Brawl. I haven't rewatched Dragged Across Concrete yet. I really should have. I'm going to in the next week. I feel like I could make comparisons. I should have watched to make comparisons, but also like he really wants to make you kind of feel and like understand what these characters are going through and what they're doing. And I think another big part of it that he uses is the cinematography. How there's a lot of shots, they're very wide shots. He puts the characters in like one little corner to make them feel very small and kind of helpless. In particular, the scene when I forget if fuck, what's his name? Patrick Wilson's character is it Arthur, and he's like screaming in pain. And just there's like this wide shot of him sitting there that just makes him feel like so tiny and like helpless.
Um,
I just forget the
I think
context.
it might be like earlier in the film when he's taking off his boot.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Um, but I don't know. That's the thing that throughout all his films, he uses wide shots to kind of like create a space that the characters live in, that make them feel small. I think that's interesting. Also another thing for just how, like I was saying, unsatisfying some of it is. Even though the violence is like great, it's so brutal. It's like so brutal. There's never like music or anything accompanying it. It's just like quick. It's just like fuck, like somebody just got like chopped in the head, or like somebody just
Read
got
a
like
really interesting interview with Zoller about his graphic novels and how he as a kid he was very into as hardcore as it gets. I Want It, and he was like fucking watching Man Behind the Sun as a teenager
yep.
and shit, which explains a lot. But the way he uses gore is particularly effective because it's not so much the blood. It's like just skin hanging off like a body, kind of just half chopped off, or like
Yeah.
there's chopped limbs in the foot in throughout the film, but there's not a whole lot of blood. It's just
Yeah.
something about it works a lot more on a visceral level than whereas like you chop someone's head off and there's a geyser of blood where it's almost comical from a Sam Raimi film.
Again, like the opposite of Tarantino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fucking Kill Bill, or like I'm thinking more of the gore in Brawl. So I'll get to that in a bit because
Oh,
I have some
oh,
thoughts
yeah.
about it. It's
Oh, you
I enjoy it a lot, but I think it's kind of goofy. I'll talk about
sure?
that in a
Yeah,
minute. But
that movie is goofy.
oh
I mean,
yeah, definitely. But
but I love it.
yeah,
I love
me
it so
too.
much.
But in Bone Tomahawk, I feel like it's a lot more realistic. And yeah, like even though there's not a lot of like, come on, we got to talk about the probably one of the most brutal kills in horror movie history.
Yeah,
The fucking
Oh,
scene where they put the guy upside down and
Wishbone.
chop
that
like
shit.
all the way in half.
That shit made me
Fucking
feel
brutal.
bad. Like it made me feel bad.
Yeah.
You know what I
Maybe
mean?
wince.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just like, and like you just see his organs fall out and they like rip him. Like fuck, it's so
Oh.
brutal. I love it. I mean, I love that shit. Like it's
And
it's
then-
fucked up,
same.
but like it's so well done. Like
Dark-
imagine if they did that with like how many of you guys have seen Each of the Killer?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I have, yeah.
Like in Each of the Killer, there's a scene where someone gets cut in half long ways, they fall apart on either side, and it's the worst CGI gore you've seen in your entire life. And like just how well done it is in Bone Tomahawk. It's like you see all the intestines, all the like
Yeah.
inside, the viscera. It's like it's so fucked.
And the sound
I
design
love
of
it.
him cracking open.
Yeah, like his bones and shit. It's like
And the sound and the sound design of how each hack of the tomahawk like progresses through his
yeah,
like,
it gets
fucking,
like deeper and like is a different kind of noise. Like
oh my
it's-
fucking god, dude.
I love that. I love it so much. Actually, all
Same.
the gore in this, like I forgot because like I always remember like in my head. It's been a few years since I've seen this movie, probably like 4
Mhm.
years. I always just think of the bisection scene. I think that's the word for it, bisection. I forgot like the next scene when Kurt Russell gets like his abdomen cut open and the flask of shit is like it's like
Such a unique fucking kill too.
It's like I mean it wasn't really. I mean it kind of killed him, but
or unique injury.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like fuck.
Yeah.
Like I totally forgot about that because that thing was
Yeah.
hot too.
Uh-huh.
That thing was
Yep.
it was sitting in the fire, so it like cauterized it. It's like oh. I just have one note. It says when the old guy tells the beige guy that he has no bitches. I thought that was a funny note.
Richard Jennings. Love that actor.
Yeah, he was great in this. I really like the characters in this. I think the I just in my notes I have him as the beige guy. I forget his name. It's the dude in the suit that has low key swag.
Brooder.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's
but-
a fucking he's a fucking
like
dick,
he's a
man.
fucking asshole. But
He
like
gave me serial killer vibes. I was so
Yeah.
convinced he was a serial
He was
killer.
horribly traumatized and he used that and he was like, all right, now I'm going to
now I'm free. I can just kill everyone.
now
Like,
I'm old West Hitler right now.
Like he kills those Mexicans, and like the thing about that though is like they do come to kill him, but was that because they killed him, or are they gonna do that anyway? Like, was he right, or it wasn't very clear.
I think maybe it's not supposed maybe it's supposed to not be clear.
Mm.
Where it's kind of like, well, this dude is kind of a psychopath and he's paranoid, but like in these harsh circumstances,
It
maybe
kind of
his
makes
choice
sense.
to do that was like, I mean,
Ki-
because like maybe those the two guys should have been like, you know what, let's we're out fucking here, let's not fucking approach these guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you like
they
just
deserved it.
risk it.
They
No,
deserved
I don't think they deserved it, but I understand.
Why
Like,
do you think they deserved it just because they were Mexican?
suck my wiener.
Wait, so was this all of our first times watching it or second time?
It was my first time watching Bone Tomahawk, but I've seen the other two.
Oh, I didn't know you hadn't seen it before. Cool.
First time for the podcast, but I've watched it twice now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, same for me. It's been a long, at least 4 years. Because I remember I watched them all like pretty much back to back. I remember I watched Brawl and then I watched Concrete like like back to back. Then maybe like a year later I watched Tomahawk.
I've seen Brawl a few times because at one point I was like using Pluto TV and it was playing on Pluto TV, so it was like playing all fucking day and my TV was on. So I would just pay attention sometimes in the background.
Yeah. So, what other thoughts on Bone Tomahawk?
Oh, I'm sure there's got to be many.
I know, I'm looking for my notes right now. I have a note that says manifest destiny against the Mexicans. Because I think he mentioned
Oh, that was a crazy line. What the fuck was that?
yeah, like what I forget the
He
context,
said,
but he's like
Mr. Bruder just educated two Mexicans on the meaning of manifest destiny.
He was out of line a couple of times. He was like he has a bit of Victor is a bit of an interesting character. He's like an elderly old dude where he's kind of portrayed like a toddler at times, where
Yeah.
he's super defensive of the sheriff.
Mhm.
And he's always like butting in when someone badmouths the sheriff, like a toddler would, or like someone who's trying to defend their parent.
Yeah, he's going
Or-
senile, I think, in the movie, or he's nearing. It was a good line, and it fit the characters, because like of
Yeah.
course they would say that shit. Of course they would fucking
Yeah.
say that shit.
Yeah.
But it also for me it was like, well, I was like, I like him. I like him just a little bit less now, but he was one of my favorite characters. I love Kurt Russell though, because I love Kurt Russell.
yeah, he
So I
was
love
great.
Kurt Russell as Kurt Russell, playing Kurt Russell in this movie about Kurt Russell.
I think you should
So-
say Kurt Russell a couple more times.
He was great. I don't know. I love his mustache. That's all.
I want to stroke his mustache.
Did anyone notice that Kurt Russell? I think he was in two westerns that year, and
What was the other
he
one?
kind of looked exactly like how he looked in Hateful Eight.
Oh shit, he
Oh.
wasn't Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
He just
and-
kept he kept the beard. He kept the facial hair.
He has like a
That's what I
big
said.
beard in that though, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he might have a bigger beard actually.
Yeah, when the hangman. Yeah. Oh fuck, it's been so long since I watched fucking Hateful Eight.
I've
That's a
not
good
seen
movie.
the Hateful Eight, surprisingly, somehow.
Really? Shit.
I haven't. Oh.
I had the maybe this is a tangent,
I
but
haven't seen Jackie Brown either, but that's a whole nother discussion.
it's mid, in my opinion. But Hateful Eight, I just randomly got on TikTok the scene where Samuel L. Jackson's like, my big black
Dude, that shit is insane. I love it.
He's so fucked up. It's funny
Yeah.
though.
Well, it's great because like there's not a single person in that movie that's like a good person.
No, they're like that's another thing. Like
Because at the end,
everyone in that movie are terrible. Like the way it ends, it's like,
yeah,
damn, like it's kind of fucked. But like I love that movie. I just wrote down it's realistic Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know. Like that's any Western, I can say that. That's not really. I just fucking love Red Dead. I was watching this. It's like, this is literally Arthur Morgan.
dude, that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the whole reason that I went on to watch like Hateful Eight. Because
Yeah,
it was
it gets you into Western for sure. Like when
And
I
I
was
was
by the
dying-
time.
for a snow western. Sorry.
Oh yeah, because of the beginning and shit, yeah, and the ending. Have you finished that game yet? Because I still need to finish the prologue.
Red
Or
Dead.
the epilogue, prologue.
Yeah, I
one's
finished.
that?
Epilogues at the end.
Yeah,
yeah.
epilogue. I need to finish that still.
That game is so good. That game is so well designed. Because like you finish the story and it's like, well, we know you want to continue to explore the open world, so let's give you like something that'll keep you there for longer.
All right, I just have all these random notes. Like the guy at the bar with Kurt at the beginning questioning him looks like Trent Reznor off the album from the era when he was making Wish. What the or Broken. What the fuck is like? What the fuck is that? Like that's such a random fucking. Oh no. I said it looks like Trent Reznor off Wish, not the Trent Reznor song Wish. Like that's not. I always write dumb shit like that, and it just clouds up my notes to the point where I don't even read any of my notes. Um. Oh yeah, Sid Haig is in this film. I
Yeah.
totally forgot he was in this. He's only in the first scene, but like, I just fucking love Sid Haig. He's like a fucking horror icon.
Well, I just like that it opens on a guy getting his throat. Like it's like, all right, opening credits a little bit. He's getting his throat slit, and it's gross too. The sound design on all the violence is like a little
Yeah,
unsettling.
just a.
Yeah. Well, you can hear it like cutting. You can hear it like popping through the larynx, I think.
Yeah, it's not just like a bleeding sound. Like I
No.
think someone was mentioning that earlier, how the gore it's not just like a lot of blood. Andy, I think it was you, but like yeah, it's like you hear all the like cartilage and like a bone snapping or like it's so fucked. Or like when Patrick Wilson pulls the whistle out of the guy's neck.
Oh, that was sick. I loved
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's a very neat detail, actually. Like, how the fuck does that work? Like, what?
Well, so it's they must have them implanted when they're young or something.
So it just
Yeah.
grows in there. Yeah.
And then it grows in there, and so I guess it's like connected up with their windpipe, so when they yell it just comes out because they don't speak. Apparently that's what they say in the movie. They don't have a language.
Oh
So-
yeah, I guess they don't speak. They just kind of like
They shriek.
they
Yeah.
grunt and shriek.
They are like they are like designed. They are designed as like proto-human. Like they're not just. I will give him credit on this aspect. They're not at all just like really fucked up people. They're like not human. They're
Yeah.
like proto people. They're not.
They're like
No.
something else entirely. Like that's what like at the beginning, when the native they talk to, he's like, it's like something completely like unsacred to their culture and their
Yeah.
people. It's like this totally fucked thing. Um, yeah, and like there is something just like the first scene, we were just talking about it when the guy shows up. It's so fucking creepy, like because he has all like the black ash and stuff. It's just like he looks like a fucking like demon.
Yeah. And there's
it's
no
such a
music.
good-
He pops out
yeah.
of nowhere.
That's something I really liked. The kind of sparing or use of music, which I love when films use lack of music to communicate something or kind of make it
Yeah.
give an atmosphere. Like No Country for Old Men. I think that's the best example of it. But like especially the scenes with the violence, there's like no emotional manipulation with the music. It's all just cracking and screaming and like
Yeah.
stabbing and shit. Like it's so good.
It kind of is a scary movie.
Oh, it's
Like-
definitely a horror movie to an
I mean,
extent. Like, it's not
it-
just a Western. Like,
It
even
didn't.
though Westerns are really violent and brutal, like, it's a
Yeah.
different kind. Like that dude getting chopped in half. You wouldn't see that in like
No.
any
no.
other Western. Like it's something else. It is
Yeah.
a horror movie. It's that grindhouse type horror Western, and I fucking love it. But Ben, you
Yeah.
were saying something, and I think I cut you off earlier.
I was just going to say, yeah, this guy, he manages to create suspense and anxiety with such limited score throughout all three of these movies. Especially, I think, Cell Block and Dragged Across. I might be all three actually, but I can't remember there being like a single score throughout, and yet he still manages to create like suspense without music. I found that just crazy.
In Brawl, I'm trying to think if there was a score outside of just like the sometimes when music would play on like a car radio.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the only times that it was used, and it's the same with Dragged Across Concrete as well. I think that's the same.
Yeah.
Fuck, I
No,
wish I would have noticed that.
He builds suspense. He is, like I said, he's a great writer, great pacing, but like he uses like silence to build suspense.
Yeah,
Because the dialogue is so constant. He's writing this very like thorough, intricate, like back and forth dialogue. It doesn't feel like Marvel shit though. It's like good. It's fulfilling.
What
It's
about Marvel
entertaining.
shit?
It's not Marvel. It's not like fucking Marvel dialogue. It's not back and forth like that. It's
Yeah,
it's
no.
clever. It progresses along like
Dude gets
in a-
chopped in half long ways. What that happened?
shit. It's when all of that like silence drops, like when they're coming through the canyon and he's like, I'm gonna give you a sign if it's clear, and if you don't hear from me, get the fuck out of here. And in the sign is the rock or whatever. It's when he goes through and they're waiting for him to throw the rock, dude. He takes his sweet time, like in that wait for the rock to come back through. It's just like it's like 30, like 15, 30 seconds longer than you would expect, you know? And it's just totally fucking silent.
It's like the longer you make something, you wait for something. I mean, that's why jump scares work. But like in horror movies, they use it as a cheap thing all the time. But like the longer you make someone wait for what the fuck's gonna happen, it creates that suspense. And yeah, he does it really well in this.
Like edging and coming and jizzing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did want to mention was I don't think their clothes would be that clean. And also I don't think their teeth would be that white. Sid Haig looked like he was in the Old West with fucked up teeth and he was all grimy. But like, especially like for most of the movie, they look pretty clean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
David Arquette, who I can't even remember actually being in the movie. His teeth go back and forth from like rotten and black to normal and white, which
really
apparently is a goof according to IMDb.
Yeah, that also just with the clothes, I watched this with my dad. He enjoyed it. He did not like the guy getting chopped in half long ways.
Fuck, I don't think anyone likes that.
I love it.
No, I mean I like it, but I didn't like it.
I love it. I edge to it. No, but my dad said it's maybe because like maybe like since they live in a nice town, their wives keep their clothes clean. But I feel like I don't know.
Good wash machines or something.
Yeah. Good old laundromat, you know. I don't really have a lot more criticisms towards it, I don't think.
I mean, we get to the meat of the discussion pretty quick, to be honest.
I think all the acting is great. Like I think from every person in it. Like I really love there's a one part. I mean, of course, like Patrick Wilson. He's so good at just being in fucking agony the whole time. And just like you just feel it. Like you could just feel his struggle. And it makes the movie a lot better, I think, having a character like that. But there's a scene when fuck, I still have it written down as the beige guy. That guy, the serial killer guy.
Mustache man.
Oh
wait, they all have mustache.
Beige mustache man. Who hates Mexicans. That guy, he leaves he tells Kurt and the other guy to like leave him behind. He's just waiting for him to come kill him and he's like shaking in fear. Like that it's such good acting. Like that was just like a really great part. I don't think the wife was a very good actor. Lily Simmons. No, I feel like at the end when she's in a cannibal prison, she should be a hell of a lot more scared. Like everyone's scared. Kurt Russell is scared as fucking he's a shit. And she's just like, you goddamn morons. Like fucking like it's like you guys are idiots. She says some shit like it's not this or that. It's like it's the idiots. It's like she was like preaching to him. It just felt like really?
Yeah, I feel like you would
for your life. Like
but that's kind of a writing thing, to be fair.
Yeah.
I feel like she would be insane.
Maybe.
I feel like she would be you would be crazy because she didn't know they were gonna come find her.
Yeah.
You would be like you'd be pissing shitting yourself. I mean, like, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that
she sort of does it where she's like the lead guy comes out. She's like, oh no, not that guy. About it.
I feel like she was kind of one dimensional. Like she didn't really. I mean, she's not in most of the movie, but like she's just. I felt like as a character, it just kind of fell flat.
I mean, he writes movies for dudes. Like,
I mean, it's not like I wanted some like deep woman's perspective on the Western world. It's just like I feel like she kind of didn't hit the
I
mark
wish she
everyone else did.
Yeah, I wish she. Well, I wish she would have had a little bit more depth. At least she's like a respectable character. But yeah, there clearly wasn't a lot of attention given to her, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, the other women characters, the wives of the troglodytes, they were very strong and empowering.
Empowering. Man, that was also like I think second to the bisection.
Yeah, that like it's. I remember that very clearly. Like before I rewatched it, like there's some really fucked up parts. It's a bisection and there's women. It's only on screen for like 5 seconds, like as they're walking out.
Yeah,
that's so fucked. Like just the whole idea. It's like fuck. Like
It's just a little. It's just a little. Oh, and by the way, just in case you forgot.
It's just like they're like blind and like dismembered. Like
Mhm.
They're basically just used for production. That's it.
I think their eyes were
Yeah.
stitched up too. And
yeah,
their
they're like
mouths.
I think their eyes were like poked out or
Oh
like
shit! Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they were like fully like they're literally just like baby machines for the toddlers. Like that's so fucked.
Yeah.
Um, there's a one part towards the end where they're like they're talking about the flea carnival and
Oh yeah, the flea carnival. I have
yeah,
a good one.
and like fucking Richard Jenkins, I forget his name. It was like Chicory or something.
My
Chicory.
wife always told me they were fake, but I thought they were
They were
real.
alive
I
and
knew it. They
tan.
were real.
And then like Patrick Wilson's wife is like, no, they were alive and talented. It's like I don't know, like what that was. I guess just keeping the last tiniest bit of hope alive for him. I like that. I thought that was kind of a good moment.
And it was fitting for him too to be like concerned about fucking fleas. Like
Yeah.
that's his
Yeah.
like metaphorical dialogue is little flea circus.
All right. I'd like to wrap this discussion up for Bone Tomahawk.
All
You guys, any final thoughts?
Um, definitely. I would say probably the weaker of the three for sure.
I would say so
Personally.
as well. I haven't rewatched Dragged Across Concrete yet, but I feel like I'm gonna like it a lot more than I originally did.
Despite how I feel about the movie, everything considered, I think it actually kind of comes in second for me in terms of like how much I actually enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk about Cell Block.
Yeah, me too. A couple last points. For some reason, I wrote what was the point of the movie? It's a grindhouse western. It's a good movie. I don't think we need to find a deeper meaning. I don't think that's the point of the movie. And then after that, I just wrote the Old West. It was a bitch. That's just what I wrote. Yeah. I don't. I'm gonna cut out the trying to find some deep metaphor in these films because I think they're just really well made, great films without like a bunch of
Yeah.
subtext. So I would give it a crispy 8 out of 10.
I'll go 7 out of 10. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 on Letterboxd, like an idiot, but I go 7 out of 10.
I think 6.5, 7.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I would probably agree with. I think Arthur who said he'd put it in second place. I do actually have an issue with the pacing, more so than the other two.
Oh,
I actually feel like the other two are paced a lot better. But I do feel with Bone Tomahawk, I just feel it needs to be a bit tighter.
Yeah, I agree.
It just, yeah, I just feel like I think an hour in, and I'm like starting to flag a little bit. So yeah, I think probably shave a good 20 minutes off, 25 minutes. I think it'd be a bit higher up for me. But at the moment, I reckon it's probably about an 8 out of 10. But probably it sits, I reckon, second. But it's so close. All three are great films. But yeah, I'd probably say some pacing issues. Other than that, I think that it's just a really well made movie. As well, it's his directorial debut, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it is
that's
actually
really impressive.
It is
really
very
fucking
impressive.
Yeah.
But also, it's just so like I don't know. You can see like how confident he is as a filmmaker. To make this, it just I don't know. I was kind of blown away with it being his first film. So yeah, it is really really well made.
Yeah, I agree. Just one last note. I don't know if this is the official trailer, but the trailer for Bone Tomahawk that was on my Brawl and Soul Block 99 Blu-ray, fucking terrible. Like it's one of the worst like it wasn't that bad, but like it was so cringe. Like it
What
does
was
not
it like?
it's the editing. Like the editing and the stuff they were showing was just like it just makes it look really cheesy and stupid.
Like action western kind of.
Kind of like that, but also just they make it look really generic and boring. And like just like any other crappy indie film festival, low budget
Trailers
shit.
are a dangerous bag sometimes. I remember Doctor Sleep trailers being like really fucking like gave no implication that the film would be as good as it was.
Yeah, trailers mostly suck. I don't like trailers. I do like trailers that are really good. There are some trailers that
Like
I've
the Alien
saved on
trailer.
YouTube. That
Just
are,
give me
what?
like a director and a synopsis. That's all I need.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think trailers for horror films are just a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Pet Cemetery and Sinister, those trailers completely ruined the entire movie. They showed like all the jumpy bits, and yeah, I just regret badly watching them trailers. Just
Fuck,
never again.
What was that one movie that like totally spoiled the movie in the trailer?
Oh fuck! Wasn't that Pet Cemetery? No,
I don't think it was
What
that. It showed the plot twist in it.
I feel
fuck.
I don't remember.
It sounds familiar, but I can't.
Yeah, it
tell.
does sound familiar.
Blade Runner 2049. They showed that Harrison Ford's in it in the trailer.
Oh man,
That kind of sucks. But like, no, there's a movie that fully. You know what's a funny one? Is the letterboxed description of the Roman Polanski film The Tenant. Totally spoils it. Like it literally describes. It's like a synopsis. Like it describes the ending of the movie and what happens in it. It's like, what the fuck? Like
A lot of those old trailers give you like a rundown of the whole movie, like from
Yeah.
like the 80s and shit, or not even the 70s.
yeah, a lot of those are like kind of boring. Like those older trailers.
But they keep going, man.
You keep going. They're like Robert De Niro. He's the taxi driver. The skidding. Oh, fuck! I just realized we didn't invite Grayson back in.
I don't think he was super involved. I
No.
don't think he really cared.
He was just getting cucked in the corner, muted.
Yeah. Poor guy.
But yeah, Bone Tomahawk, good shit. We're gonna continue our S. Craig Zahler filmography. Very short filmography. In the next episode, which will be Brawl in Cell Block 99. Everyone say bye.
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 Actually, let's do that again. I don't know. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Slay Queen.
Adios.